Hi, in this tutorial I'll talk about how to trigger Jenkins job remotely using Postman. So what we'll do, we will have a Postman post request. Using that post request will trigger a remote Jenkins job. So what we'll do as part of this tutorial, I'll create a user and then we'll create a API token for that user, and using this API token and user will trigger Jenkins job remotely using basic authentication mechanism. What is the advantage of this method? So let's say you have multiple developers and a developer wants to trigger job remotely, but you do not want to give access to any developer so that they can't see what is written inside your job, or even you don't want to give read access of your jobs. So in that case you can give a Postman collection to trigger these jobs. The advantage is you can pass parameters as well as part of this method. So we'll see how you can trigger a job without parameter or with build parameter, and the access level is also you can maintain using this, so that whatever the access level of that token or the user has, the developers or anyone can trigger only those job remotely. So what we'll do in Postman, so let me explain. So what we'll do, we'll create a post request in Postman, then we'll use a basic authentication mechanism using the user and the token, API token what we generated earlier. Then if you have any build parameters, so you can set those parameters as a body of that request and as a form data in key value pair. I will show you how you can do that. So in this way you can trigger both kind of job when you have build parameters or without build parameters. So let's see how you can do that in a demo. So in Jenkins I have two jobs, job 1 and job 2. Job 2 is without build parameter, job 1 takes 2 parameters at the build time. You see that this tech and author, these has the default value as well. So I'll show you how you can trigger these job 1 and job 2 using Postman. So what you have to do, so if you don't have build parameters, you can define the URL in this way, right? Job, this the URL of your Jenkins, and then job, name of job 2, and build. If you have parameters, mean build parameters, then you can define build with parameters and you can pass on the data as part of body. So first let me show you quickly how you can create a user and how to generate a API token. So go to this and go to the manage Jenkins. You will find a option here, manage users. So here create a user. So I'm creating a user with name Postman user and I have the same password. So let's create that. So I have created that. So if you go to this user and go to the configure section, there is an option called current tokens. So you won't be able to generate token from here. What you have to do, go to the another browser, log in with this user, and then you can generate API token. So let me go to the different browser and log in with this user. Okay, so let's log in. Now go to again manage Jenkins, go to the users, and you will find this user what we created right now. Just click on this, configure, and now you will find a new add new token. So add token, give a name, let's say Postman token, and generate. Keep this token with you. You won't be able to see this token again. So click on this, you can save this token, and let's say save. Now go to Postman and create a post request. So I have created a collection called Jenkins. You can create with any name, and now you have to create a request. There's a number of ways you can create a request. If you don't have any request, you have an option this here, add a request, or using these 3 dots you can also create a request. Let's say add a request, or you can click on this plus button as well. So let's say create a request. Let's say Jenkins. Now make this request as a post request. So by default it's a get, make it post, and now add a URL here. So what will be the URL? What I mentioned there means URL of your Jenkins job and the name of your job and then build. So my job 2, I want to trigger a job 2 here. Now authentication, how you can add that, go to the second tab called authentication. You will find a drop down, choose basic authentication. Once you choose basic authentication, you have to use your user which was Postman, and the token you generated in the previous step. You can see your token as well. Just click on show password. So make sure you are using correct token here, and the name was Postman user. Your username and token should be correct. Now save it. So when you send this request, your Jenkins job should be triggered now. So let me say send, and I send, it says status is 201 created. So ideally job should be triggered now, job 2. Let's go back and check my Jenkins here. So let's come back and dashboard, and here, so job 2, you see here, see job has been triggered just now 4 seconds before. So if you check here, you will see now it just created now. Okay, let me trigger one more time so that you can see it's triggered. Postman triggered. Come back here and see this is in queue. It's getting triggered. And job completed. Now if you have parameter, let's say my another job here, job 1, which take 2 build parameters. You see the build parameters, tech and author, and what it does, it print those values whatever you provided in the console, means it's output console. So let's see how you can trigger this job with parameter, with input. So let's go back to my Postman and create one more job here, post request. Let's say it's a post Jenkins with parameters. Right now, URL, what URL should be added here? So you will notice here now I'm using build with parameters. One more thing you have to understand here, I click on plus button, so it's not sure under which collection this job will be saved. So what you have to do, when you do the save, select a collection, under which collection you want to save it. So let's say and give a name, Jenkins with parameters, and save it. So now this job is under this Jenkins collection. Now you have to pass in 2 variables as well, means build parameter. First you have to say authentication. Again, every time for each job you have to set its authentication separately. You can do it at a global level as well, but that is part of Postman tutorials. I'll explain sometime later. So what you have to do, again, the Postman, it is already saved, Postman, and the token should be same. Yeah, it's the same, right? And go to the body, go to the form data. Now whatever the build parameter you need to pass, you can pass as a key value pair. So what is my parameter is tech. Tech is, let's say Jenkins is my tech, and let's say Jenkins tutorial. Right, another one is, let me go back and check here, what are the parameters. Okay, one is tech, another one is author, and let's say author is, let's say AEM Geeks. Right, save it. Now when I send this, a job should be triggered, job 1 should be triggered with input where parameters or build parameters called tech with value this and author with value this. Let's send it. Right, it's status 201. Now go back and see the Jenkins here. Let's me go back, and it should have, let's refresh this. See, this has been triggered 10:05. Right now it's 10:06. So let me open this to see what is printed there, console output. And if you see here, parameters, build parameters is Jenkins tutorial and AEM Geeks, what we passed from here, from Postman, and I have already shown you how it is printing. I just wrote a simple shell script to print these variables. So this way you can trigger a Jenkins job remotely using Postman. I hope you understood. If you have any question, add your comment. Thank you.